Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for being here today for this new episode of Music with Nick. I'm very, very excited to do this marathon. I'm just like, the artists on this are just one of the artists that I've always wanted to listen to or wanted to, review or make videos just myself, So I'm just like, it's a good time here. So this is sponsored by JK. Thank you so much. And I already found a song and an artist that's gonna help us. If the because as you know, and I know I always talk about it, but I just want to make everyone aware. It's very tough, like the reaction videos, especially when it's a marathon, when it's more than one song of the same artist or not same artist, but yeah, I would say sometimes the same album, then kind of like YouTube blocks it, but that's like a Google thing. It's automatically being blocked because they, even though it's fair use, it for them it seems like, oh, I'm uploading like too much songs of the same album, and then that's just what happens automatically. But there is a little way to kind of overwrite that, is by adding Warner Brothers, and they're basically cool with reaction videos. That's the thing. So I already found an artist that fits for this type of marathon, and that's Vangelis. And I'm gonna play one of my favorite music by him, and I just discovered that all of his stuff is Warner Brothers. So that's just amazing because we can use, so much good music, and I really haven't heard that much, So I'm gonna do Blade Runner at the end, even though I've heard this album, but I just want to listen to it with headphones, and I just want to know what you guys think of this music, because I just saw a documentary, but I will talk about this once we get there. So pretty much, the marathon consists of overtures, right? It's called Making Overtures Marathon. So Making Overtures, these styles veer from rock to Broadway to film, but they're all overtures. So that's what I love about JK. He always finds a theme. These here from the amazing Leonard Bernstein or Bernstein, which is more music than you'll hear in the movie Maestro. So this is what is so exciting. We're going to start it off with Tommy. I've always wanted to listen to Tommy, and I've never really found the time, or I don't know. And since it's like such a huge album, at least I'm going to start off, somewhere. So we're going to do the Overture by Tommy, by The Who. And we're going to let it bleed into a little bit here into the It's a Boy. And so I'm super excited. Then we're gonna do Overture to Candide by Leonard Bernstein. I'm just gonna say Bernstein, so I don't sound so German. Bernstein, Bernstein, and we're gonna do the original, the 4 minutes and 4 seconds. It took me a little bit of time to find that one, but I found it. It's the original Broadway cast recording. Super old. So that's what, because there were like 20 different versions, but they're all like 419 and stuff like that. Then, oh my god, one of my favorite movies, North by Northwest by Bernard Herrmann. I know this piece, but I really want to do it because it's just so good. And that's what we're gonna do, an extra one. I want to hear it with headphones. I never really heard this, like paying attention to all the details, but Bernard Herrmann is one of my favorite musical composers. All the stuff he did with Alfred Hitchcock, and then later on with Brian De Palma, and it's just amazing. I think he inspired lots of people like John Williams, and just movie scoring in general, like Danny Elfman. So I was going through, all the composers, Danny Elfman, Alan Silvestri, stuff like that. And then I was like, hey, Vangelis, he's an amazing composer for movies. So we're going to go with him. And then we're going to do Overture to West Side Story. Oh, wow. So I don't remember that one. I have seen the movie and the remake by Steven Spielberg. So we're gonna listen to that, and then we're gonna listen to the 10538 or 10,538. I don't know how he would number that, you know. But it's 10538 Overture by Electric Light Orchestra. I don't know. Let me know how do you, if you call it 10538 or I don't know. I don't know how to, you know, I don't know. And then after that, we're gonna play the main titles, Blade Runner. So I'm super excited to do this. Okay, well, without further ado, I'm just gonna start. You know, we're already like, sorry for the long intro, but there's a lot of stuff to be said here. So let's go, you know, with Overture by The Who. And let's see, when is this from? 1969. Holy moly. Most of the Leonard Bernstein things, it doesn't say, you know, the year, unfortunately. I can look it up once we're playing it. North by Northwest is 1959. What an epic movie. West Side Story original, 1961. Then Electric Light Orchestra is from the album No Answer, 1971. And then the epic Vangelis movie, it says here 1994, but I know it's 1982. Yes. Oh my lord. Here it says December 1981. Okay. Recorded. Wow. All right. So here we go with Tommy. Here we go with The Who. Let's go. Wow. So good, man. this.
Captain Walker didn't come home, his unborn child will never know him. Believe him, miss him with a number of men, don't expect to see him again. It's a boy, Mrs. Walker, it's a boy. It's a boy, Mrs. Walker, it's a boy. A son, a son, a son.
Damn, this was so good, man. Oh, like, yeah, I don't know. The Who is like, it's one of those well kept secrets from us, still, you know, like, unfortunately, we haven't had the time, or I don't know, you know. We did the entire Quadrophenia album, and that was very dense, you know. It's on Patreon if you want to watch it. We reacted to it, but we reacted to the wrong one, and then so we had to do it twice. So we sat there almost 4 hours. We were just exhausted. By the end of the reaction, we were just mentally drained, you know. So but this, so the full, we could do this, like, if you want to suggest it in maybe 2 parts, you know, Tommy, on Patreon. 1969. Wow. I mean, the recording was so crisp. I love, you know, and I think I recognized the Pinball Wizard, that because I know that song. I know that song very well. So I think that was in the overture, but I love how they, you know, use trumpets and horns and guitars and just singing and made like this overture, you know. Really cool. Man, Pete Townsend, what a great guy. Like, no, but the whole band. I mean, Keith Moon, I've seen more of him. He was like insane, you know, insanely good drummer. And I'm getting more into them, you know. I've set some like, I didn't like their stuff when I first heard it, but you know, it is like you get into it, you understand it, and you learn, you know. This was great. This was amazing. And there's a little story to this. So back in Mexico, I had a friend, and he was, I think, where was he from? I think he was from California. His name is Chance, and we haven't spoken in a couple of years, but so he had so we would go to the same school, but we lived like on opposite ends, you know. He lived like 90 minutes away from, like, literally from Puerto Vallarta. He lived like an hour away, so like 9 minutes away from my house, so we would never really get together. But the cool thing is, on the weekends we were like, hey, everybody, like, meet at Chance's house. So we'd go there, and it was like in the middle of nowhere, but you were very close to the ocean, so we could go surfing, and we could make as much as noise as we wanted because there was no neighbors. It was acres of land and these bungalows, and very nice. So usually there would be people. This is before, like, they did like the bed and breakfast kind of thing, you know, before. Oh god, I have to stop doing this. I have like my water container, you know, and I drink 2 of these now. And no, but I'm playing with it, you know. I'm playing with it, so I have to put it on the floor. Don't play with it. So the story. So yeah, before the whole Airbnb stuff, you know, so they would have, like, they would book on, I think, on the internet, over just like it was in a magazine, their house, which was a beautiful house with bungalows. These people, these surfers, or just people visiting Mexico, and they would stay there, you know, a week. So this guy, I don't know where he came from, but he and we always had guitars everywhere, you know, acoustic guitars and stuff. So this guy literally, like, he performed the entire the Tommy, the entire thing on acoustic guitar, singing, doing everything. But I don't remember. This is like so long ago. So I know I've heard lots of it, but he was just amazing, and he had a great voice, and he had great chops, and he was just one of those guys, you know. He's like, you want me to do Tommy? And I'm like, what's Tommy? Oh yeah, it's by The Who, check it out. And he started, and we were just like sitting there watching him for, like, I don't know if it was 70 minutes, but I guess, you know, just mind blown. So that's a little bit of a story. So yeah, so he did everything just with one acoustic guitar and singing. But yeah, beautiful. I loved it. I love the recording, the crispiness. It's such a great idea, and I can't wait. I can't wait to hear more. All right, now moving on. We're gonna do some Leonard Bernstein. This is the Overture to Candide, and this is Act 1 on the album. It doesn't say. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's just play it, and then we'll look it up while we're listening to it. Here we go. Wow. So good. that's the stuff that I love, you know. Uh I mean, I just love film music so much, and I love the, you know, comedy injected here, you know, like it reminds me so much of like I the only one that I know who does this nowadays is Danny Elfman, you know. He can be rather, he's either very like dark, you know, or very funny, like it's dun 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 da 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 dum bum bum, you know, like the way he writes, like if you listen to PV Herman's theme, or like The Simpsons, or I don't know, even in Batman, Beetlejuice, you know, everything has like this dun 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 da 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 dun dun, you know, like and maybe like Leonard Bernstein also, like I think Elfman also does this like these scales and these really fast arpeggios and rising and descending scales, you know, to give like this movement. And that's what I loved so much when we watched Snow White. I paid so much attention just to the music as well, you know. The music was so, it was such a big part of the movie, you know, that they still do. Something is I can hear something, I don't know, I think I'm getting a call, but well, I'm gonna take a little break, but yeah, I love that, you know. I love this piece. It was very there was so much movement, so much humor. And by the way, I looked it up here. I think Alexia's calling me. Yeah. So this is from 1956. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, yes, Alexia needed some help, and also, the thing about these, you know, drinking 4 liters of water every day, it's like you are spending a lot of time in the bathroom. Literally, like but it's good, you know. I guess it's very, very healthy. That's what we're supposed to be drinking, you know. And I usually drink more coffee than water, so yeah, I think that's not so good. So just back to Leonard Bernstein, this piece was just so good. And I've always been a fan, like I said, of any sort of cartoon music for its humor, and, you know, just stuff like what is it called? Is it called Roadrunner? The Roadrunner, meep meep, you know, and Tom and Jerry, and just music that makes a lot of like, where there's a lot of movement because there's a lot of happening on the screen. So with the music, you compensate, you know. So okay, so yeah. So just to talk about that, but oh my God, Bernhard Herrmann, this movie. Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, everything we've ever. We just watched The Birds, you know, like 2 months ago for the first time, and I was just like, wow, what a style, and then what an ending. Super weird. And I think they did the sequel and like 30 years later, which is crazy. With the same actress, and really cool, really good movie, very unexpected, and also the way they did the whole effects back then, crazy stuff, but great. Also the music and everything. Okay, so here we go with the main title. Let me just shut that off. Of North by Northwest and Bernhard Herrmann. So good. Here we go. What a ride. But yeah, I do hear like this. That is so much like, I think John Williams used a lot of it, even in the first Star Wars, you know, just to give all the, you know, I'm so happy that they didn't go with any synth, because it was 1977. And I'm so happy that they went with this orchestra. They had to, I mean, they had, this movie, the scene, even though the opening, like when this happens, this music, if you have never seen the movie, it's just a bunch of buildings, there's nothing really dramatic happening. It's just like the names of the actors, but it sounds so like powerful. It's not like the scene that you see where he's getting chased by the airplane. By the airplane, yes. Well, so epic, and I'm sure a lot of musical composers have taken from Bernhard. I'm sure from Bernhard Herrmann. Those cues, like, because musically it doesn't, obviously it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like a lot of, it just it makes sense in the way that the music makes you like tense, and that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's there for. It's not, when you look at the chart, it's not like, oh wow, it's more like, I love that they use that music, the score, to invoke like some sort of like, yeah, like feeling of stress and like tense. You get tense. It's not music that relaxes you. It's like, on the contrary, it puts you like in a state of like, oh god, so so that's so effective. That's crazy, because music can do so many things. Music can make us cry or angry or happy or just like this. This piece, obviously I've analyzed it throughout the years, and there's so much stuff that's super hard to play, on guitar, of course, also on the original instruments, but just the writing to put it all together, that's crazy. That's just, when you write a score, that's different level of composition, because yeah. All right, so that was just fantastic. I love it. Very short but amazing, very effective. Okay, so now I'm sure we're gonna go with something lighter. This is West Side Story, the Overture. I don't really remember it. This is Leonard Bernstein again. Let's see. I just want to see. Yes, 1961. I didn't want to take the one from Steven Spielberg, but I think he used the same music. I think he was true to at least the music. The singing was done by new actors, and I think they even won Oscars for their performances and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we're gonna do the 1961 version. Here we go with West Side Story, the Overture. What an epic! Literally made me tear up, like da dee da 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 dee da 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 da. I think that I got it wrong here, but what a memorable like couple of notes, you know, just what, like 5 notes that's instantly are like injected into your brain, and you will for always remember them. Like, you know, like Indiana Jones. Dun dum bum dun dun, like he uses like this margin and bam ba bam bam ba bam ba bam ba. You know, it almost sounds literally like Bavarian music, like from the Alps, you know? And then that's like one theme. And it was so clever that he did that, John Williams. And then he did bam ba bam ba da ba bam ba bam ba da dum, bam ba bam ba da bam 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 ba. So he uses two themes instead of one. Very, very genius, because I actually remember reading something about John Williams asking Steven Spielberg or George Lucas, which theme do you want? You know, I came up with these two themes. Use them both. I don't know how you do it. Use them both, but that dun 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 bam ba, that's so epic. And then the second part, you know. But here this body ba dum, body bam ba ba dum. I know I'm singing it wrong, but I have to listen to it more. But that's one of those things that just stick into your head, you know, forever. And I just saw the movie, like, I don't know, like 2 years ago, the new one, you know, and I love the music, and then I love that it's the same, and I love the story. This movie is so epic, and also the music. So let's go. Let's keep going. Jesus. Okay, so let's go. Let's check this real quick. So, oh my god. So I guess, you know, you're supposed to. That's what the music is there for. You're supposed to feel. Oh, my hair is so long, man. But I think this is also the last time I have it long. Um, maybe not, you know, maybe, but for now, like, I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna stay short for a long time. But well, no, about the music here. I love that they're going through all the movie scenes, you know, and there was some really sad passages there, and like it just, you know, it's supposed to make you tear up. Why wouldn't it, you know? So, oh man, like our good friend, let me just put this back. There you go. Our good friend Lee, he says, you know, I always tear up when I watch movies, you know, like and like, who wouldn't, you know? Like, even the strongest macho man, like, if you can't cry watching a movie, then maybe something is not right, you know? Like, I don't know. But yes, I mean, everybody feels stuff differently, but I've seen the toughest guys, you know, like the strongest dudes lose it, you know, with music and with an like emotional ending in a movie, you know. So wonderful. Okay, so now comes more like the Latin theme here, like the Puerto Rico. Here we go. Okay, so I just this I mean, what can you say? This is just fantastic, you know, like I could that's I think I could do marathons that are, you know, about movies and film. I if you would tell me you need to do you know, you need to make 10 of those every day. Yeah. Sign me up, you know. Um it's so enjoyable. It's the music that I love the most, which is instrumental music, classical music, just a bunch of, you know, music that feels your heart, you know, and I don't know, it's just I love it, you know. I've always and every time I write music myself, I don't um I don't write riffs, I don't write scales, you know, or well scales that I do write melodies, but I'm more like, yeah, I write a lot of I every time like I write music and like Alexia tells me the same. It's like I write scores. I always write because I'm such a film freak, you know, fanatic that every time I write music it just ends up sounding more like a score. And not as like I'm not as good in the orchestration, like all the stuff that's going on, the trumpets and the oboe and how everything takes over and then you know those kind of like percussions in an orchestra it's very hard to do so but I write you know I lay down some chords and most of the time it's like you know with the piano and I'm not a pianist so I'm not like I'm not a virtuoso I just play chords and it's usually very synthy or very not synthy like 80s synthy it's just like I don't know I'll upload something I guess but yeah so I just that's the way I write music as well you know and so now the thing here so the last song I was gonna do like I wanted to do this marathon like for like when did I put this together must say okay in April of last year and it's called From Another World and this is my idea and this is Blade Runner, and then Jerry Goldsmith, main title from Alien, Predator. Alan Silvestri, and then Hans Zimmer, my good old Hans, Interstellar, and then Star Wars. So if I use the main title right now for this one, then my My marathon is kind of messed up. So I'm going to have to look for something else from Blade Runner to fill out the shoes. We could do... the Blade Runner Blues. That's amazing. But that's 9 minutes long. I just want to add something. We can do Tears in the Rain, which is pretty much like where he has that at the end, you know, he gives a little speech, and it's a very cool little tune. And or we could do something else. It doesn't have to be Blade Runner, you know. I mean, it can be Vangelis. Anything of pretty much now Vangelis, because all Vangelis albums are... The thing is, I saw this. We could do Conquest of Paradise. Yeah, let's do that. There's an opening here with only... Let's do Conquest of Paradise. That's his most famous song, and the album is produced by Warner Brothers. Okay, I hope they didn't switch it. But yeah, I saw this documentary, and it's insane, like the music he writes. But let's talk about this once we get there. Let's do the Overture of Electric Light Orchestra first, from No Answer. And you guys let me know how it's like. Is it 10-5-3-8? Is it like that, or... But yeah, Electric Light Orchestra. So let's just delete those here real quick of the list, and we're gonna add something else. Let's go.
Did you see your friend crying by
reminds me so much of the Beatles. Like when the Beatles got more, like I guess, like Sergeant Pepper, you know, Eleanor Rigby, those kind of songs when they started to incorporate classical instruments, you know. Like I guess Eleanor Rigby is a bad example because I think it's just a cello. And Sergeant Pepper, when we reacted to the full album, there's so much going on, and I think Electric Light Orchestra, I think they had the same producer, and they just have that sound, and it's such a great tribute, I think, to the Beatles. You know, it's like almost like if they would kept going, you know, that's what we've gotten or something. 1971, really cool. Like so much punch. I love it. Okay, and that's also JK wanted to use this just to change the pace a little bit, you know, to inject a little bit more rock, and I'm gonna pull it back to this is I guess, you know, I don't know if I've heard this, I've seen the movie 1492 Conquest of Paradise. I didn't know that Vangelis composed the music. That's awesome. But there's a fact that I was so amazed by of the documentary of Vangelis. So he works obviously with all these amazing musicians and like these soloists and, you know, like violinists, you know, and people, and they were like, okay, so I'm gonna play you this like over the phone, right? He's like talking to one of the best violinists in the world, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna play you this like piece of music now over the phone, right? Back in the day. And then the guy was like, oh my God, did you record it? Like, did you record, like, because like Vangelis is like, did you like it? Did you record it? Like, I'm not even going to answer that. Oh yes, I recorded it. Good. Okay. Because the fact was that Vangelis didn't write music. He didn't write or read music. Imagine being a composer like that. If you listen, right now we're going to listen to Vangelis, right? So just imagine that he just put the stuff, he kept it all in his head. He didn't know how to put it on paper, which is totally fine. You don't need to be, you know, classically trained, or you don't have to know how to write. I mean, it does help, because pretty much what he would do, he would hire someone, he would record his music, and that's so crazy. He would record the music finished and then have someone transcribe it so people could read it, you know, and add to it. So that was just mind-boggling, you know, like it's mind-boggling, you know. But I know there's a lot of musicians that I love specifically that don't know how to read and write. And I think one of the best musicians that I consider one of the best musicians in the world, he didn't know how to write music. So there you go. So this is Vangelis, Conquest of Paradise. And let's go. Like, I have no idea what I'm getting into, but I'm sure I'm going to love it. Here we go. This wasn't a documentary. Okay, so that's like crazy because it's not even sad. It's just so powerful, you know, and so epic that I can't believe it because it's like I'm sure that he wrote this just by himself, you know. I don't even know if the chants, you know, the if those are real, you know. He did everything, and there's an amazing example where he just improvises with his like 20 keyboards, you know, they're all connected, and there's all these weird 70s technology that he uses. Watch the documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. If you don't have Prime, maybe it's on YouTube or download it. I don't know. But just watch it. It's amazing. And yes, and like the reason it brought me to tears is because it's just beautiful. You know, it doesn't have to be sad. It's just overwhelming. You know, it's overwhelming piece of music. It's just so beautiful. You know, that's all I can say, honestly. Um, and you can, I don't know, maybe if you, it's so epic, and could see the ships, you know, and everything. I think he was such a visual guy, you know, like he would see. And it's also Ridley Scott who directed this movie. So I think, and he did also Alexander, which is not that was directed by Oliver Stone. But even Oliver Stone said, "Yeah, I always listen to the soundtrack, you know, that Vangelis created for my movie. It's amazing. My mother listens to it. You know, that's what he says." It's just like this guy was a genius. I'm so sad that he passed away, you know. And he was a very shy man. He was not comfortable with interviews. He was not comfortable with being on stage, you know, and stuff like that. He's just a very, you know, private guy and just a genius, you know. So I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed this immensely. Thank you so much, JK. You know, I wish there were more marathons like this. These are the ones that truly, you know, get to me, you know. Like, and I hope a lot of I wish younger people would watch these and understand about what it's about, you know. If there's even something as understanding, you know, it's more about feeling, you know. I don't know. But this was wonderful. Thank you. If this was your first marathon, please let me know. If this is, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, you can also dislike, you know, it's all good. It's all good. And but yeah. Thank you so much, JK. This was wonderful. Thanks everybody for watching. And I can't say enough good stuff about this marathon. This was just beautiful. Everything from The Who to Leonard Bernstein to Bernhard Herrmann to West Side Story, Electric Light Orchestra, and then this last one was kind of like I put myself like I I didn't know how beautiful it was. I just needed, you know, some Warner music, but I think it fit nicely. So again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.